guys, welcome back to World of Tanks. My name is Bruce and today I want to present the tier 8 Russian double barrel heavy tank, the IS-2-2. In addition to this, I want to explain how double barrel tanks need to be played. If you're interested in more reviews and gameplay, go to YouTube and search for World of Tanks with Bruce to get all of my videos, or click on the subscribe button. In addition to this, you can now also support me on Patreon, so feel free to follow this link and become a patron. And now let's go. The IS-2-2 is the first double barrel tank in the Russian heavy tank tech tree line, which leads to the SD2. In general, this tank lacks armor. Its shell damage of 300 is lackluster for tier 8, at least when it comes to heavy tanks. But it has the potential of delivering 600 alpha damage if you make use of the double shot. In this video, I will present the IS-2-2 and furthermore tell you exactly how you should play double-barreled tanks. If we take a look at the armor profile of the IS-2-2, you can instantaneously see that the upper hull is pretty weak. Only 175-76 up to 180 millimeters of effective armor, and so is the lower plate, which only has about 186-87 millimeters of armor, so pretty weak, and every other tier 8 tank will be able to penetrate you with regular ammunition. Now this also applies to a cupola, which is pretty weak, as you can see, and also it is not the, let's say, not the smallest cupola. Now the turret, on the other hand, is relatively strong, 200-300 millimeters of armor, and then obviously the gun mantlet is also pretty strong. Now keep in mind there's this little turret ring here, which is also easy to penetrate. Now if you try to side scrape, you can see that this side becomes a weak spot. Well, I would say not a weak spot, but tier 8 tanks will be able to penetrate your tank. Now, if you use your gun depression, which this tank actually has, then you can see that the upper hull, well, it does not become too strong, 280 millimeters, 220, on the lower portion only 213. You might be able to bounce one or another shot, but once again, it is not too strong. So this tank does not, let's say, it does not benefit from its armor. The armor is not too strong, so you have to play cautiously with this tank and you have to conduct smart gameplay. So how do I play the tank? Well, first of all, I play the tank with improved ventilation, then with the vertical stabilizer, and with the improved rotation mechanism. As this tank is some kind of autoloader tank, I would call it, there are not too many options. For example, you cannot use a gun rammer, as you can see, and so this is the equipment I am using. Now, as the penetration value of the standard shells are not too, or is not too bad, I am using 44 regular shells and then 26 premium ammunition. My crew, my commander is the Cobra commander with a couple of skills. Sorry, open file. So as you can see, all the good stuff: Sixth Sense, Brothers in Arms, repairs, recon fully trained, and then I am working on mentor in order to boost the experience of the rest of the crew. Now the rest of the crew also has Brothers in Arms, then repairs, and the gun handling skills. The loader, one of the loaders, has intuition leveled up to 90%, and then the other loader, keep in mind this tank has two loaders, is also working on intuition with 97%. So this is how I play the IS-2-2. Alright, here we are in the first game. We are spawning on Secret Line with our IS-2-2. And let's first of all take a look at the map. Spawning on Secret Line in the north with the heavy tank, you have several options. You can go here and then try to get crossfire or try to get shots on those tanks right here. Maybe move down here eventually to play aggressively here. You can also, with your heavy tank, go here to this position and try to get shots on those guys, or move aggressively into this position. So lots of options on Secret Line for you in your heavy tank. Alright, so let's try to go to the middle, so the D6 position, and see what influence we can have on this position. Now, in order to understand the IS-2-2, let's take a look at the weaponry. Now, this tank has 2.2 thousand base DPM, which is pretty good. Upper damage of 300 is a little bit lackluster for heavy tanks on tier 8, at least nowadays. This tank has 0.36 dispersion, and I'll take a look at the reload time. 8.15 seconds for the first shell, and then if you empty the second shell, an additional 4 seconds. So with using the second shot, you basically reduce your DPM. Now, if you use the double shot feature, then first of all you have to it basically takes you 2 seconds to charge, and then your gun will be locked for 4 seconds, so this pretty much kills your DPM. Now, 2.4 seconds aim time is pretty good, and shell velocity, I would say, is mediocre. 980 meters per second is fine. Now, so what does this mean for using the double shot feature? Well, in general, in my opinion, or my suggestion is, play the tank as a single shot tank. With you using the double shot feature, you kill your DPM, as we just saw with the stats. So when should you use the double shot feature? In my opinion, only use the double shot feature if you can kill a tank. So every additional gun which is taken out of the game cannot make damage to you or your teammates anymore. So taking an enemy gun out of the game compensates for the long reload time, and thus for the temporarily extremely reduced own DPM. So if you can take out a tank, then do it with your double shot feature. Now keep in mind that if you kill your DPM, you should not be alone, because as your DPM is significantly reduced, chances are that the good enemy players will rush to you and will try to take you out in return. So keep that in mind. Now, the second possibility for you to use the double shot feature is if you want to trade positively, because if you have the support of your team, i.e. You don't need your good DPM, and if you just want to make good trades, then in such a situation it is beneficial to use the double shot feature. Now, because let's say you can move out of cover, take a shot, let's say take 300 to, let's say, 390 alpha damage, but you can deal 600, so you will trade positively with using the double shot feature. The last thing, in my opinion, where it makes sense to, or the last situation where it makes sense to use the double shot feature is if you're low on HP and if it's the last chance for you to deal damage. Then of course dealing 600 damage is better than 300, and you don't care about your reduced DPM because you will be taken out of the game afterwards. So in those 3 situations you can and should use the double shot feature. In all other situations it does not make too much sense, and you should play this tank as a single shot tank. Now keep in mind that using the double shot feature you have to pre-calculate your shot, because as we saw, it takes 2 seconds before you will fire those 2 shots. So it is difficult to assess whether it will be successful. Most of the time the double shot only makes sense in close quarters fight, so keep that in mind. Just like with an autoloader tank, you should try to play this tank as a single shot tank. Yeah, and I think with this technique, with playing this tank as a single shot tank, you will be so much more successful, not forcing you to use this double shot feature again and again and again. Now, having that said, the strength of a double barrel tank is that you have the high potential alpha damage, so most of the enemy players will not want to trade with you, and this means that you are, let's say, quite a threat to other tanks. So this means that you have the strength to hold a flank and buy time for your team, just because you have the potential of dealing a high amount of damage. So yeah, this is kind of the let's say the theory behind double barrel tanks. So in my opinion, you should play those tanks in general as a single shot tank. And now let's go to the second game. Alright guys, here we are in the second game. We're spawning on Overlord, and once again, let's first of all take a look at the map. Spawning on Overlord in the south with the heavy tank, you have several options. You can go down to the beach, however, I don't recommend this because it will take quite some time until you have managed to re-enter the game like this or like this. Instead, you can also go here. What I like to do is I like to go to this position here, try to get shots on those guys here, and then from this position I have all options. I can go and drop down here to support my team here. I can even drop down like this and try to get shots on the enemy heavy tanks once they are winning the beach and moving like this, or I can even move up here and support my team once the enemy team is winning this part of the map. Okay, so this is exactly where we are going, and as you can see, the tank is not the fastest one. So let's take a look at the mobility. Only 34 kph top speed is not too great. 12 reverse, 750 horsepower, giving it a power to weight ratio of only 14.72. This tank feels pretty sluggish, especially with the mediocre terrain resistance values. So 1.34 on medium terrain and 2.01 on soft terrain. Now this tank has 7 degrees of gun depression, which is pretty nice for a Russian tank, and 20 degrees of gun elevation. So all in all, this tank feels relatively sluggish, and the mobility is not the best one. Okay, so let's see, maybe, no, I think we cannot get a shot on those tanks. And I think I don't want to be too aggressive, because as we saw previously in the video, the armor is not the best one. Maybe I can go here and hide most part of my hull. Let's see, I'm not spotted so far, but maybe I should see. Okay, I'm not spotted here. Very strange. Okay. Let's see. Okay, looks like the enemy team is not playing this portion of the map, which is kind of strange. Ah, here you go. Okay, so let's fall back a little bit. Here you go. Gun depression is not enough here, it's not sufficient. Alright, we are winning by 2 tanks, which is nice. Maybe he's making another mistake. You know what? Yeah, okay, perfect. And now I want to use the double no, he's falling back, which is too bad. But now to go in this situation, I wanted to trade positively. Plus I have the support of my team. As you can see, 3 heavy tanks. So in this situation, in my opinion, it's a good opportunity to use the double shot feature. Okay, so let's take a look at the rest of the stats. As we saw, the armor is pretty let's say weak. 110 millimeters of hull armor means that every other tier A tank will be able to penetrate you. Now the turret armor of 235 is decent, as we saw, and you have 1500 HP. Okay, so the HP pool is not too bad. 350 meters of view range is pretty low. This is typical for Russian heavy tanks, so this tank is pretty blind, and you will not be able to spot your opponents with the IS-2-2. So all in all, in my opinion, you have to play this tank carefully. It has the potential of delivering 600 alpha damage, which, yeah, it's it is a potential threat for the enemies, so if you use this tank wisely, you can have a significant influence on the game. However, this tank is not too strong because of the weak armor and because of its limited mobility and its limited spotting capabilities. So it's, in my opinion, pretty tough to play and not the easiest tank, so I would certainly not recommend this tank for a beginner. Okay, maybe we can get a shot. Yep, let's just try one shot. In this situation, I would certainly not use the second shot and not kill my DPM, but simply... okay, we're receiving damage, but this is fine because now we can play somewhat hull down here in this position. And yes, I know that there is the... there you go. I know that the enemy artillery is still alive, but we can hide here and maybe here go. Maybe. I waited too long. Could have taken a shot on the... maybe on the VZ now. Here you go. Besides that, the gun is relatively precise in my opinion, not like on most of Russian heavy tanks. And so, with this tank, what you have to do is you cannot play too aggressively, like in, let's say, in a Defender or in a T-56. So you have to play cautiously, and you have to play somewhat defensively in order to make sure that you preserve your hit points. And here you go. We have map control now, so we will just stay here and see if we can get maybe a blind shot. Here you go. Too bad. Okay. As you can see, turning around this game, this tank is not the easiest thing. Let's go with a shot. I think we hit the VZ-44. Yep. Okay, so we have to hide, as you can see. 6 to 7. We have map control, but the enemy team is trying to defend. At least we made 1000 damage, which is good. And yeah, once again, with this tank you have to play smart and cautiously and not simply rush out because your armor is just lackluster, not able to bounce regular shots. Now I think we should... yeah, here you go. So in this case I could have also used the double shot feature. Yeah, so in this situation it would actually have made sense to use the double shot feature. That's how it is. Okay, maybe now let's see. Yeah. As the frontal armor of the Centurion... oh. As the frontal armor of the Centurion 5-1 is not too bad, I didn't want to use the double shot feature in this case because, yeah, if the shots didn't penetrate, I would have killed my DPM completely. So I think in this case it was the right decision. And so, slowly but steadily, we are increasing our damage. Here you go. That was a lucky shot, and then okay, it takes too long. Yeah, so you go. And now I think it's time for another double shot. Here you go. And so we can take out the tank. Once again, if you can take out the tank, then do it and use your double shot feature. This is one of the strong parts of this tank. And now, yeah, all of a sudden we have dealt 2700 damage, 900 assisting damage, and so the game is relatively close, so good for us. Now let's see what we can do here. Let's try to peek around the corner. Here you go. There's the Stritzwagen. Let's see. We have to work with our gun depression. Okay, he's Okay, here you go. There's his weak spot. And now, you know what? Let's wait. In this situation, I want to wait until my shot is reloaded. And then I can take out 2 tanks. Here you go. And then now take out even another tank. Or maybe wait until the other shot is reloaded. Nice. Oh, and then let's take out this tank. Here you go. Nice. We kill the Zoo 101 with the ramming and then take out the Super Hellcat. Excellent. So 3,500 damage, 1,250 assisting damage. Excellent. So about 4.8k combined. I think a pretty decent result, but there's still the Centurion 5-1 in the game and also the VZ-44. Here we go. Nice. Okay, I think we have to aim at his weak spot. Nice. We can take him out as well. And then okay, I think the Centurion 5-1 has left, so yeah, so I think a pretty decent result in the IS-2-2. Once again, key to success with double-barreled tanks is, in general, use the tank as a single shot tank. Only use the double shot feature in those particular situations which I described. And then, especially with the IS-2-2, your armor is lackluster, so play cautiously, play defensively, and conduct smart gameplay. Don't rush into a position and get killed instantaneously, but rather try to, you know, advance steadily. And with your 600 potential alpha damage, you pose a threat to the enemy team. So use this capability wisely in order to be successful on the battlefield. You know what, Mr. Borsig, I will try to cover you. So I will move in front of you from this side so that, yeah, I can protect you, my friend. And so if the Centurion moves from this side, he cannot take a shot on you. And you, yeah, perfectly. He's aiming the right-hand side. So 21 seconds. And yeah, I think we will win the game if the Centurion 1 does not go up. 6 kills. And about 5k damage. Excellent result in the IS-2-2. Excellent, perfect. So yeah, let's jump into the third game. Okay, third and last game in the IS-2-2. This time we're spawning on Cliff in a tier 9 matchup. And once again, let's take a look at the map. Spawning on Cliff in the south, the situation usually looks like this, and with the heavy tank you can go to the classic rolling area. However, I don't recommend this. You can go right here and play the 9 lane, at least with a fast heavy tank. However, what I like to do most often is I like to go here and then see, depending on the game, whether I can, or let's say go here if it works out, and then see whether I can make pressure and move like here to get shots on the enemy tanks which are right here or maybe in this position. Because if you... Cliff is all about winning this portion of the map, so the donut here and then the hill. And I think my influence is much bigger if I play in the middle compared to playing on the 1 or 2 lane. Okay, so as I said, I want to go to the middle and see how it goes. Now it looks like the E75 is playing on the 1 and 2 lane. I think our composition is actually not too bad because, I mean, after all, we need 1 tank at least on the 1 and 2 lane to hold up the enemy team, but the rest of our team is moving to the middle, which is the right decision in my opinion. Now the enemy SHPTK is moving to the 1 and 2 lane, but it looks like all the rest of the enemy team is also going to go. Nice. This is always a good opportunity to wait and see whether you can get a shot on the light tank, which is going to the hill. And now, as the hit points of the enemy light tank are reduced, our team should be able to take him out. Okay, here we go. So a good opportunity. I waited too long. Damn it. This would have been an excellent opportunity. And once again, a situation in which I want to trade positively. So using the double shot feature actually was the right decision. However, I discontinued it, and that was a mistake. Okay, at least one shot. Nice. Now, if you have to make a precise shot, then the double shot feature is not the way to go. Yeah, that's how it is. So let's see. Okay, I think we can now advance. Keep in mind there's no artillery in the game, so I think we can now play more aggressively. And after all, we have the support of the Skoda T56 and also the ST1, so it's time to play more aggressively. Okay, here you go. There's the enemy BK168, but I think I can, yeah, hit his cupola, which is nice. And now let's take the second shot. Here you go, and now fall back. Excellent. Nice. We are safe from him, and now he's taken out. Excellent. Yeah, okay. Don't know what the enemy team is doing, but 7-3. We made 1100 damage, and now it is time to obviously play more aggressively and get more damage, because nice. And then another shot. Let's try to track him. Here you go. We track him, and now here you go. Here you go. Always try to conduct track shots, because with doing so you will get more assisting damage. No surprise here. Okay, perfect. So we will wait until our two barrels have reloaded, and then sorry, Mr. Skoda, sorry, we'll get a shot. Here you go. Okay, no problem whatsoever. Now we need to move back. Oh, okay, that was, yeah. Okay, I think I traded my hit points relatively stupidly in this situation, but that's how it is. 2.5k damage, which is good. Let's wait until... No. Okay, that was bad. The problem here is now that killed my DPM, but that's fine. Okay, the Skoda T56 is attacking the Progetto. Oops. Here you go. Nice. Okay, 478 damage. Nice. And yes, okay. So with the double shot feature, you are relatively quickly able to push up your damage. So 3.3 damage, another great result. Alright guys, that was it for today with the video about how to play double barrel tanks in World of Tanks. What do you think about the IS-2-2? Do you like this tank? Do you think it is competitive? Or do you think the real fun of double barrel tanks starts on tier 9 with the IS-2-2? Just leave a comment in the comment section down below. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you hated it, give it a thumbs down. Consider subscribing to my channel, and I'll see you next time in another World of Tanks video.